Hi, I'm Robin from Asheville Cotton Company. I'm going to show you a little bit about our Diagonal Magic seam tape today. So we have this great little seam tape here that's going to help us do diagonals like for flying geese and half square triangles and all kinds of things like that. So first thing you're going to do, this is like a washi tape. So it's kind of sticky, but it's not super tacky. So first thing I'm going to do to set this up is go ahead and cut it nice. It doesn't really have to be straight, but just kind of a nice cut. That way it won't get hung on everything. And my idea here is to get this lined up with the center of the needle position here. So I'm just going to kind of go right there. This, the more accurate you can get it, the better, but it's not, it's not really having to be slide rule accurate here, but I'm trying to get that red line lined up with where the needle is going in, and I can kind of tell on this machine. I probably would go over just a teeny more in a perfect world. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and then I'm going to come straight down. This extension table here makes it pretty easy to get it right on the line because I've got lines on my extension table, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around as far as I can here. And I am going to trim that off. That just gives me something if I have really long half square triangles. If you have one longer than this isn't really going to work that great. So that's really all you have to do in order to get a straight seam line here and a 1/4 inch here and here. I am going to go ahead and trim between, and that way I can take my table off without having to redo it and move the tape every time. So I did that. All right, so now to use this, all I have to do is line the edge of my fabric up. Of course, if I had a straight stitch plate on here, it would be a little better because then I wouldn't worry about the fabric going down into the machine so much, but we'll see what happens here. And I'm going to line up the bottom of my triangle, of my fabric right here, my square, on the red line, and that way it's going to give me a straight line there. All right, so let's see how it goes here. Basically, I don't need to watch up here anymore. I'm just watching right here and just kind of keeping that line going, and I will get that perfect little line in the middle without having to do any marking. So that's really cool. So this is going to give me those half square triangles and other things like that. Okay. Now another thing that you may end up having to do would be where you are supposed to mark the center and then sew a 1/4 inch on each side of that. If we do that, we're going to line up with, see how this is kind of lined up right there, and you're going to line up there, and then I'm going to sew, and when I do that, I'm going to keep my eye right here, and when I do that, I'm getting that perfect little 1/4 inch seam on that side. And then the same thing with the other. I can do it the same way, or I can do the same thing if you're used to seeing it that way. I can do it this way or the other, whichever. And just line that up there and line that up there. And then I would get my perfect 1/4 inch seam on either side. And then you would just cut these in the middle, of course, and then you'll get 2 half square triangles out of that. So same thing with the flying geese and those kinds of things where you have a square and you're supposed to put another smaller square on it and you sew down one side. Same thing. If you get too big, it's not really going to work great. So if you are having trouble seeing the starting point where you're trying to sew, this is another kind of cool thing you can do. You can add a diagonal line. Just going to cut a piece here of this washi tape, and this machine is pretty easy to see the diagonal line because it's marked on the plate and on my throat plate and on the table here, but some are a little harder to see. So I can actually line that up with the center and come down here with it. I don't want that in the feed dog area, obviously, so I'm going to need to get rid of that up there, and I'm just going to trim that off like that. And then I can do the same thing over here as well. But what this will give me is a good place to start. So I can, if I can see that this is lined up and that is lined up, actually you have to line up, sorry, with the black here and the red, I think. Oh no, it's the red. It's red. I got it. So you lined up with the two reds, and then that's going to be your good starting point. So that's cool. And then another thing I thought would be really kind of nice to do, I'm going to go ahead and take this piece off. You've got tons of this. It's 10 yards. So let's say we have a really long one. You can actually just set this, and it's easy to see through this tape, especially when you don't have white fabric. It's easy to see through it. And you can actually put that on your top layer instead of drawing a mark. Okay. Trust me, you can. All right. Just get it started on one side and bring the other one down. Okay. And now I can actually sew through it. This might be a good thing to do if you had a particularly long one. I wasn't really accurate as much as I could have been on that one, but you get the idea. And then I can just actually peel this off. It would be easier to peel off. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to peel off, but if you did smaller stitches, just like paper piecing, it would be a little easier to peel off. But that would be good if you had a really long kind of area that you needed. Or if you needed to sew 1/4 of an inch away from something, you could do the same thing. Just put it on there because you do have 10 yards. This will stay good for a while. Every now and then you might want to replace it just so it doesn't get sticky. If it gets sticky, just use a little WD-40 is my favorite thing to get goop off of stuff. But I hope you enjoy that, and it's our little Diagonal Magic seam tape. And there's a QR code on the back if you ever want to come back to the video. If you've seen it now but can't remember where the video was on your package, we package these so you can get them out easily and keep the packaging. And so that QR code, all you do is just put your camera on that, and there a little website link will show up. You just touch that and it will take you to our website where you can purchase more if you need it, or see the videos or the instructions. Thanks a lot, and I hope you have a wonderful day.